everybody. Welcome to Biters. This is Diane, and I am here to tell you I am a small person who does not stick her neck out for anyone but herself.
And this is Marnell, and I trust Rick.
And I will take your mittens and sculpt you after. Which goes to my everyone will be clothed in the ZA, because right now I'm working on a super complicated pair of mittens. So.
But they're very pretty.
They're very pretty, but they're not exactly utilitarian.
No. But Jadis would still steal them off of your hands and throw you into prison.
And sculpt me after. Although she'd be like, you can take the chains off, but you need to put some clothes on. Damn. All right, so hit me up. What was your rating?
Well, we are on season 8, episode 7, Time
Correct.
for After.
Correct. Time for After.
My rating was only 3.8 active deceased.
3.8 active deceased. I
love, like, Eugene said that, and I'm like, that is such a great name for them. Active deceased. I like that.
We haven't heard that one, so I'm willing to give him that.
Yeah, active deceased. I like it. But I didn't really like the episode, so...
So I actually rated it a little lower than you did. Just like last week, I gave it a 3 out of 5, but this week it was a 3 out of 5 former traveling companions.
Okay, so I think I rated it higher. I watched it a second time, and then I watched Talking Dead, and I'm super hyped for the mid-season finale. So I think that I was generous in my rating, and I'm trying not to be a downer, but I had a lot of problems with this episode, so...
So I'm going to tell you that I watched it intently twice, and I had it on a total of 4 times, and it did not become any less of a stinker for me. So I'm sorry, everybody. This is going to be the Marnell talks Diane off the ledge episode.
You know, and I'm not even really talking you off the edge. I mean, I'm just like going to hold your hand and be here for you.
Kumbaya.
At least we're not standing on the edge listening to Dolly Parton on an iPod.
Right?
Yep.
All right. So I have a few ratings. I actually went back and looked because we didn't have good numbers for The Big Scary You. So The Big Scary You actually ended up with a really good gain. It ended up a total of 12.3 million in Live Plus 3.
Ew.
The King, the Widow, and Rick in Live Plus 3 was 11.8 million. It was basically 8.3 million in same day views, and it was on top of Monday Night Football. It was on top for the week.
Who are these 1 or 2 million people that are just like, I'll watch it next week? You know, like.
Well, it's Live Plus 3, so it's like 3 days later.
Yeah, but like even Live Plus 7, there's like always some wonky numbers.
Yeah,
where it's like,
I'm not getting good Live Plus 7 numbers from the site that I use.
But it's like, who are these people that can like stay away from social media or like don't mind being spoiled for for the episode week?
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe they don't care if they're spoiled. You know?
Yes, weirdos.
So this week, I actually had the same day views for this week because we're talking a day late, and it was 7.74 million. So of the last 3 episodes, it has actually had the lowest rating.
I did read something today that said that it's about 8.5 million. That's like the big fan base. Yeah, that's what we're...
I mean, that kind of makes sense. We were talking about how we'd probably settle out right around 8 million, so...
Yeah.
Good for us for becoming expert forecasters of TV viewing.
And it's still, for as downer as everyone is on the ratings, it's lost so many viewers since, last year, blah, blah, blah. It is still kicking everyone's butts.
Right.
So,
in 8 seasons in, no less.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's kind of interesting to me is that I actually find that I'm really interested now in going back and watching season 7 in its entirety. So I really think that I probably will do that, maybe over the mid-season hiatus.
Right. Right.
So,
I need to watch it all over again.
yeah, like the whole thing.
Yep.
Like from
Seasons 1 through 8.5.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that we should pick a couple of favorite episodes. Like you pick one, me pick one. Maybe Phil, maybe Thomas O'Mara, maybe Thomas Reese if he's willing to come back. Maybe Bry if we can pry him back for an episode. So we can
Right.
each do like one favorite episode and all of us talk about it.
I concur.
And maybe the thing is that we cannot pick from episodes that we've already done. You know,
Ooh,
like
that'll be tough.
so like let's say none this season and none from season 1 because we just did the season 1 retrospective.
Right. So 2 through 7.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Me too.
Yeah. All right.
That's quite a few episodes to choose from. I think we can figure it out.
If anyone out there is listening, I think the Thomases and Phil might be. I'm not sure about Bry. I've kind of hit him up a little bit on social media, so we'll see.
Yeah, and if any of our other listeners out there, like, let us know what your favorite episode is, seasons 2 through 7, or 1 through 8.5, whatever. Just give us an episode that you loved and why you loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Engage us on our social media. We crave the attention.
And why don't you go ahead and plug our social media sites?
We're on Facebook.
Did you know we're actually on Twitter too? Because every time I post something to Facebook, it gets posted to Twitter as Biters Podcast. But I don't think we have a single person following us on Twitter because it's Twitter fail.
I'll have to go remedy that tonight. But I will have to go onto Twitter and like my own podcast page.
There'll be a new at least new one like from Alaska.
Right. But you can also go to Southgate Media Group and become a Patreon and help support podcasts like ours and maybe listen to a few like ours or listen to a few that are not like ours, find something new.
Like Capes and Lunatics.
Like Capes and Lunatics. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Phil. So moving on to a friend of the pod, Thomas O'Mara, and he won't know that reference because he doesn't listen to the podcast that I stole that from. At least I suspect he doesn't. So he apparently knows the director of this episode, a guy named Larry Tang.
So this is his first his directorial debut for TWD. Yeah,
it is. But Thomas worked on some television and he's worked with Larry in the past. I didn't get the details from him about what shows he's worked on. So Thomas, you'll have to fill us in on that.
Yeah, I would totally be interested because he's directed a lot of things that Larry has directed a lot of things that I really love. Supergirl, SWAT, the new iteration of SWAT, that's the 2017 version. That's turning out to be a really good show. The Good Doctor, super, super good show.
Yeah.
You guys should check out The Good Doctor. I'm absolutely loving it.
Elementary, go ahead and mock me now.
Elementary with Lucy Liu, not Lucy Lawless. Criminal Minds, an episode of Quantico.
Did you already say Hawaii Five-0?
I didn't. I haven't watched any of the Hawaii Five-0 2011 through 2015.
I have not watched the reboot, but husband really likes it, so he's watched quite a bit of it.
He directed the Suicide Squad episode of Arrow, the TV show Arrow.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. I am not watching Arrow, so, I was actually just talking with Todd about how he is kind of done with the whole superhero movie genre, which I am so not. And he was like, Suicide Squad was such a stinker. I really liked it. I had no expectations, so I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I still have to get out there and see Justice League and Ragnarok.
Me too. Me too.
'Tis the season to be busy.
I am not burnout on the superheroes yet. Maybe that's just because I'm super stoked for Aquaman.
Me too.
Well, us for different reasons. You like Aquaman. I like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, no, I've confessed it before. I'm not afraid to confess it again. I had the total Aquaman crush, like pathological Aquaman crush. So yeah, I'm not afraid. Not ashamed.
And
not ashamed.
I'm crushing on Jason Momoa, but a lot of people are.
It's because of your whole Game of Thrones.
Even before that, I loved him on Stargate Atlantis. He played a character named Ronan Dex, and he was amazing, as always. He was also in Listen, we're talking about him like he's like our featured cast member,
right?
But he was also
maybe we should make him our featured cast member.
Jason Momoa, who is not on The Walking Dead,
is the featured cast member. Okay, next week, unless there's somebody who has a really standout episode like they croak, which is possible, it sounds like.
It's totally happening.
We may have to do a featured cast member who's not a cast member. Just to really mess with people.
That would be funny. Well, we were talking about doing a tertiary character for this episode because I think we've done just about everybody who was in this episode.
We
at
have.
least once.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Dr. Carson, but
no, we haven't done him, have we?
I don't think we have, but it's funny. Listed on his IMDb credits for Walking Dead list him as two different spellings for Dr. Carson.
I wonder if he played both Dr. Carsons. Because they were twins.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I did not pick up on that.
Every now and then I pay attention. That's why this is Dr. Carson 2.0.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder. Okay.
So, I got you. I don't know. Maybe. Somebody who's smarter than us, let us know.
But that is not our featured cast member this week, and neither is Jason Momoa.
No, and we still haven't talked about the writers. So I just wanted to bring this up really briefly because we've actually talked about these guys a lot. So it was Matt Negrete and Corey Reed. And the only reason that I bring up Corey Reed is he wrote last week, and he also worked on Medium, which is his link to Larry Tang.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Because Larry Tang not only directed, I think, a few episodes of Medium. He also produced it. So
there you go. There's the link, the crossover, the glue that binds our workers together. Okay, so featured cast. We did decide we were going to do Josh McDermott because this was clearly a Eugene heavy and Eugene significant episode. So
we did. And I have to tell you guys, Dianne just told me who the featured... we just decided. Dianne didn't tell me. We decided the featured cast member like an hour ago. So I have been furiously cramming for this test.
Well, thank God, because I really don't have a heck of a lot other than saying that he had a small part in this year's Twin Peaks reboot. And we found out on Talking Dead that he is confirmed for a Broadway play in 2018.
Yeah, it's called Amy and the Orphans, and this is his off-Broadway debut. And the play actually looks really good. So I'm going to mess up her name. I don't remember who the girl is, but she's been on a couple of seasons of American Horror Story. I'm sorry, I have a black lab in my lap.
Excuses.
I just tried to type in American Horror Story and she like moves the tray.
And it was which is the way Phoenix would say American Horror Story.
So Jamie Brewer, she has Down syndrome and she's a really amazing actress, and she is going to be starring in the play Amy and the Orphans about a girl with Down syndrome who helps her family deal with the death of her father.
Hey, that's super cool.
Yeah, so she's such a great actress. I absolutely love everything that she is in. So, I mean, I would really love to go see the play, but unfortunately I live like a 12-hour plane ride from it. So, if you are anywhere in the area, go
Thomas
see
O'Mara. We're looking forward to your review.
Go see the play and review it for us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But so I actually did not know this until I did a little research. Josh McDermott actually recaps every episode every week for Entertainment Weekly. So
he does.
Yeah, so you
that's
can
pretty
go
cool.
review. He does a review every week of The Walking Dead, as a viewer. So you can go read those every week.
Is it kind of, I mean, I don't know. Is it a little self-serving to like be a viewer doing recaps? I don't know.
No.
No?
He's super funny. He does stand-up comedy.
He is super funny. I agree with that.
Yeah, you can go onto YouTube and look up his stand-up comedy. He is super funny. He is also really good. There's a couple of cons that he's done with Michael Cutlass, and those two together are just. I mean, there was one panel. I forget which con it was, but they weren't supposed to swear, and of course, every third word was a swear word. They're supposed to be family friendly.
See, Rob, we're doing so good. Oh my God.
We are. So the only other thing that I could find that was super interesting that we have probably not talked about before with Josh McDermott is, so of course we all know him now because of his Texas top hat, his mullet.
Right.
But there is some weird Billy Ray Cyrus fandom going on in Josh McDermott's world. So when they were filming the death scene when Glenn and Abe were killed,
yes,
they actually filmed a whole bunch of different people getting killed just
to kind of throw us all off. Yeah,
and one of them was Eugene getting killed, and all the lines that Jeffrey Dean Morgan did were completely ad-libbed by him. And he was telling Josh McDermott that he looked like Beavis and Butthead and things like that. But he also, I can't remember what he's, an achy breaky mistakey. That's what he called his hair. An
achy breaky God, mistakey. That's really funny.
And so in 1992, Josh McDermott was a 14-year-old kid who, this was at the time when Billy Ray Cyrus's Achy Breaky Heart was kind of being played on the radio ad nauseum.
Yes.
And it was kind of petering out, but he really wanted to mess with people, so he would prank call this radio station in his area, and he would pretend to be Caco, a Filipino guy who really loved Achy Breaky Heart, and he would request Achy Breaky Heart all the time. And this radio station got to know Caco. I think that's how he said it. Caco. This Filipino guy, he was looking for work and all this kind of stuff. He'd have these conversations with this horrible Filipino accent. And then after a while, he started calling in as other people talking about the Filipino guy that called into radios. So he was like prank calling this radio station as like 10 different people.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And finally the radio station was like, hey, come, we can't find work for you. But like, come in. We want to meet you. We want to interview. So Josh McDermott, this 14-year-old kid, white kid, goes in and he's like BSing these people at the radio station that, the reason why he's white is because he was actually born in the Philippines, because his dad was in the military, and like it just, and finally he like the jig was up, and he like, told him like, not only am I calling in as this Filipino guy, but I'm like these 10 other characters that have called your show, and they're like, well, you're like half of the people that call our show.
Oh my God.
So why don't you, work in radio with us? And so he actually got his start in acting in radio, because he was prank calling a radio show.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty good story.
And he was prank calling them, getting them to play Billy Ray Cyrus's Achy Breaky Heart. He now has a mullet, and everyone jokes about the, Billy Ray Cyrus mullet. So there's this weird universal connection with Billy Ray Cyrus. He actually went out for a part on Miley Cyrus's show, Hannah Montana.
Uh-huh.
And now he jokes that he didn't get it. They gave the Hannah Montana role to Miley Cyrus. And he's like, I don't know why. I have bigger boobs.
I knew that you would meet and exceed my need for expertise in this area. Well done indeed.
So, yeah, I mean, he's a total riot. And of course, at 14 years old, he gets his start by prank calling radio stations. That's a story for the times.
And let us just say one more time before we start into our good, bad, and ugly, not a documentary. Don't hate tweet Josh McDermott.
No, don't hate tweet anybody.
Right. Not even us.
Yeah. No. So, do you want to start with the good or do you want me?
I'll go ahead and start. I don't often start, so I'll be selfish. So my good is that I just ended up with tons and tons of questions about the future of our characters. So do you want to take them on one at a time, or do you just want me to list them off?
One at a time.
Okay.
We got some space to fill up.
Oh man, sorry.
Odd foul.
It was our mother. It's like she knew.
Well, you did get her watching The Walking Dead while she was visiting.
Right, but only grudgingly, and I doubt she'll finish it. Although she did get sucked in. All right, so back to my good. So my list of questions. Okay, so the first question is this the reverse of a heroic episode? And what I mean is, and this is an episode that I will forever be fixated on, Herschel's heroic episode right before he was killed. So is this the reverse? Is Eugene just such a creep in this episode? This is like his big flame out before he dies?
Okay, so that is so interesting that we kind of, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people had the same idea. So I actually wrote down that it was super interesting that Dwight, Eugene, and Negan all had the same goal in mind, that they didn't want any more death. And that Morgan, Daryl, and Tara, and to a lesser extent Michonne and Rosita were all like ready to like just kill the rest of the saviors and get this over with. So it was like opposite day in The Walking Dead, where
right.
like, Negan's like, nah, enough with the death, and our people are like, kill, kill, kill. So yeah, this really was the anti-hero episode.
And so does this mean that our anti-hero has had his day in the sun, as it were, or his day in the dark dungeon, as it were?
I don't know. I really don't think that Eugene's going to die. I kind of think that Eugene's going to come back and be an Alexandrian again.
Oh, do you?
But I do,
Okay, so this is not my very next question, but it's the question after. Is there any coming back for Eugene?
Yes, there is.
I don't think there is.
So, are you in the comic? Are you past like the end of war?
Yes, but the trajectory is so different in the comic than it is in the series.
Right. And so the person that kind of is I'm going to say the end of Negan, but I don't mean his death, basically what stops the war, obviously is not going to happen because we didn't go that way in the show. So I really think that it could be Eugene that ends it. Do
you?
I do. Yeah, Eugene and Dwight's relationship has always been very weird. I mean, we started off with Eugene biting Dwight in the crotch,
He does make reference to that again.
These guys have never had the greatest relationship, but neither of them wants to be the one that pulls the trigger on the other one. And that's, in Eugene's case, it is kind of a little bit self-serving because he doesn't want to have blood on his hands.
Or in his teeth.
Yeah. And and he's also, he wasn't going to do it straight to Dwight's face either. He was just about to give up Dwight, I think. And then Dwight comes in and he's like, I can fix the intercom system, but yeah, it's self-serving in that he doesn't want Dwight's death to be on his hands, but he also really just I don't think he wants Dwight to die. I mean, it would be he would get so much reward. He would have so much of an easier time with Negan if he would just turn Dwight in, and he's not. He is really, really fighting against it. So there's something down there And I know that he keeps saying that, it's just his survival instinct and things like that, and it's his biological imperative. I don't totally believe that. I think that, I think that he still cares. And it's not that he cares just about Rick's group. I think he cares about everyone.
So he did say that he didn't want to see Gabriel die.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember if it was Dr. Carson or Negan who asked him, but one of them actually asked him if he wanted to see Gabriel die, and he was like, no. So.
Yeah. I don't think Eugene is going to be the shocking death.
Okay, so the next question is, and this is kind of in the same line, is Daryl lost? Has Daryl sunk so far that maybe the shocking death is Daryl?
Yes.
I mean, Daryl is really at a place where he's like, I don't care what I have to give up to make this happen.
Yeah. See, I hope that it's not Daryl, and I don't think it's going to be Daryl, but it totally could be Daryl, just because he's gone really, he's so far down now, and I would like to see him built back up, but I just, he's never been given a love interest. I mean, they've never even confirmed, whether he likes men or women.
No, Robert Kirkman pretty much put that to rest.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was kind of shipping him and Aaron when they first came to Alexandria, because I didn't like Aaron's husband.
How mean, how cruel you are. Look at what happened to him.
I know, I feel so terrible.
Yeah, right.
But just, it was very cute. They kind of had some cute moments with Aaron giving him a motorcycle and eating spaghetti with him. And, just, yeah. So they need to do something with Daryl's character or kill him. And kill him in a super heroic way. But, you're no longer seeing online a lot of the, if Daryl dies, we riot. That's petered out.
No way, man. If Ezekiel dies, we riot.
See, and that's my top 3 for who's dying next episode.
So top 3, Daryl, Ezekiel, and...
Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we all seen social media by now?
Maybe we should say spoiler 3, 2, 1. Skip this, like, the next probably 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it.
So we've all known that Chandler Riggs has been accepted to Alabama University. But today on one of his social media accounts, he shared a photo, and he has a buzz cut. Carl is shorn.
I think Michonne just got sick of looking at it. I'm guessing.
Okay, I don't want it to be Carl. I really would, like to see Chandler Riggs continue on in the show. It would go very much against the comics to have him be the one to die. But I really hope that it is part of the show that he shaves his head, because that has got to be. I mean, I can't imagine being in filming in all the heat, dirt, and gore, and everything, the sweat, having to run around, and all these kind of things with that hair. Oh, under that hat. Like, I really hope this is just a reprieve for the poor guy.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not done with my questions.
Keep going.
All right. So what does it mean that our girls, Rosita and Michonne, are like, peace out, Girl Scout? What does it mean that they don't want to be part of it?
I don't know.
I think Michonne feels like you're not just going to sacrifice your body, you're going to sacrifice your psyche.
Yeah, and I think both of them I kind of have a feeling that they see the people inside the Savior's compound, the workers, as kind of like them, and it's like, we wouldn't want them to do this to us, and I can't be a part of this. But they don't try to stop Daryl from doing it. They're not into talking him out of it, but they're just like, whatever. It was very weird to have them both be like, okay, I've been here, I've seen it, and I trust Rick.
I really felt like the group just fractured big time, like fractured even more.
Right. Right. And it's like Jesus said a couple of episodes ago, we've got to make sure that what we have left was worth the sacrifice.
Yep.
What we had left was worth what we lost.
Okay, 3 more questions. So how does Morgan the sniper exit for fear?
Helicopter.
Okay, I like that. I'm willing to take that.
Yeah, helicopter.
We'll see where that goes. That's pretty good. That'll get him a long ways pretty quickly.
Yeah, yeah. And there's been a lot of I've seen it about 40-60 where people are like, no, there's not going to be a time jump, and the other 60% are like, there has to be a time jump. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to get the helicopter in next episode.
I like it. All right. So I actually have one last question in my good. Who told the guy in the red machete vignette that wearing headphones without a lookout in the zombie apocalypse was a good idea?
Oh, isn't it amazing? You're like, how have people survived this long without, this kind of knowledge? Like, yeah.
Nothing good comes of tuning out in the ZA.
I guess it's because I have been in my life a young female. I even when I walk in highly trafficked areas, and I live in Alaska, there are wild animals about. We've actually just had a big warning about, we've had a lot of wolves in the area, and there has been some dog attacks on wolves. There haven't been any human attacks, but it's getting winter and food is getting scarce, and so you never know. But usually we're on the lookout for bears and the stray porcupine every once in a while. So I never have more than one earphone in. Like I tried it, and it was the most stressful 30 seconds of my life.
So I tried to would be fine sharpening the red machete.
Yeah, no, always have one ear free for traffic or other pedestrians or wild animals, walkers, active dead, whatever. Yeah. No.
Okay, that's my good. That's my huge list of questions for the good.
Did I answer them all?
Yes, you did.
Gold star.
Okay, so what's your good?
Jadis, two of the trash people, and Winslow 2.0 gets their butts handed to them by Rick in boxer shorts. How did that happen? I mean, he had a tough time with Winslow, version 1, and now he takes out two trash people, Winslow 2.0, and he has Jadis on the ground, surrounded by other trash people. And he did it all with just his boxer shorts on. No weapon, nothing. That's the Rick we know and love.
It was pretty satisfying, wasn't it?
It was. It was. Her face down next to Winslow 2.0 and her having to give up. Yeah. Yeah.
We can always hope we'll be shed of the heapsters by the end of the season.
Oh,
that was a good start.
Let us hope. Maybe the shock death is Jadis.
It wouldn't be shocking or satisfying. It wouldn't have everyone talking, except we'd all be like, thank God. And no, I'm not going to hate tweet Pollyanna McIntosh.
No, she's a good woman. She's a good actress. We like Pollyanna. We don't like Jadis.
Right, exactly. And we don't follow her on Twitter.
No, I don't. So what was your bad?
So my bad, and it's kind of one of those, I'm sorry to call it bad, but there were times that Eugene's dialogue was so thick with Eugenisms that I had a really hard time following things.
Me too. I kept having to rewind and increase the volume to a ridiculous level.
Yes,
I'm like,
the way it was delivered so deadpan, and it was just, I think it was true to Eugene, but I was like, oh, hold on, I'm not digesting all of this.
He has such a deep voice, and he really, knowing the very few Southerners that I know, they all say that northern people talk very quickly. I think Eugene talks very quick for a southerner.
Yes, he does.
That's not anything like against southern people. That's just the way that, you know, their accent presents. That's the way that, you know, yeah, it's nothing against them, but they've always had a slow drawl to them. Not, you know, we always, northerners always sound so frantic and by comparison, you know? So yeah, I had the same problem.
Yeah, it was kind of painful. I mean, there were some really great lines. He cracked me up, but there were also a lot of lines that were lost for me because I was like, what did he just say?
Right. Like, I had to, like, increase the volume to, like, ear-splitting levels and rewind, and then, like, you know, lower the volume after his scene was over. Yeah. Yeah. So funny you had that issue.
So it was a small bad, but it was a bad. What was yours?
So, well, mine, I think overall in this episode, I had a lot of things that took me out of the moment, and it really annoys me when that happens. And this wasn't a big one, but I'll get to my big one. For instance, the beginning when Jadis is taking pictures of Rick, and she's got one of the old tiny cameras.
Oh my God! Okay, thank you.
The bulb is only good for one flash. Where is she getting these bulbs 5 years or whatever into the apocalypse? Like,
so I actually wrote in my writing potpourri, someone who knows photography, please help me. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, those are like, you see those on like the Hollywood red carpet, like back in the 40s, you know, or, you know, just journalists back in, you know, in the 30s and 40s, like had those, the one flash bulbs.
Right. It's like from a Batman movie when they're showing you Bruce and Martha Wayne's, or Bruce, not Bruce. God, I can't remember his dad's name. Thomas. The
Wayne parents, yeah.
Yeah, when you're seeing Thomas and Martha Wayne die yet again, because every film about Batman has to show us that, it's like a scene from that all over again.
Yeah, it's
same camera.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's a stretch, but okay that Negan and Rick can find Polaroid film, because Polaroid has actually made a resurgence. They actually stopped making Polaroid film for a really long time, and then the Andre 2000 song Polaroid Picture came out, and like there was a resurgence in like the interest in Polaroid pictures. And they started making Polaroid film again. So it's a bit of a stretch. You can still find some that are good, you know, this late. But we're also finding gas that still ignites and, you know, things like that. And apparently, like, things that still fly that hold iPods. I don't know. But, yeah, there was just a whole bunch of things that took me out of the moment. That was one of them. But my big one was after Daryl crashed the dump truck into the Savior's compound, and all of the active dead start walking in. I'm starting to call them that now. That's a thing now. Hashtag active dead. So the dead start pouring in, and everyone's just standing around shooting them. I'm like, okay, rush up the stairs. The dead will follow you. You can bottleneck, which they eventually figure out, but not after like half of them are dead on the, you know, the level 1. But everyone go upstairs, shoot them on the stairs until it creates a blockade, and then you can just stand up there and shoot them, you know, at your leisure. Like, how did anyone die in this? The dead start pouring in, you hustle your butt upstairs, right?
Right.
I was super, super annoyed at things that took me out of the moment. Like, really? That happened? I mean, I guess you could say that a lot of the workers weren't that bright, and that's why they weren't, you know, higher up in the Savior compound, and they've been sheltered by not having to survive on their own, and they're not good around walkers. I don't know, but it really took me out of the moment to be like, why aren't you guys going upstairs and just bottlenecking them at the staircases until it creates a blockade of dead walkers, and then we just shoot them at our leisure? Like, I was so annoyed at that.
Well, you know, this was really, Was it the worst episode ever? I don't think so, but I was not
Oh, no.
hugely enthused about this episode.
And I can't even call it a middle book episode. Just because it didn't feel like a middle book episode. Yeah.
I'm letting the biters know what your new hashtag is.
Hashtag active dead. That's fine. Because I have a classification of files in my office where I have active, closed active, and closed inactive. So I just thought that was funny that active dead. That's going to be my closed active file now. Is now active dead. Those are active dead files.
I like it. Oh, let's see what else. So, what's your ugly?
My ugly goes back to Jadis and Rick.
Is it a good ugly or a bad ugly?
I think it's a bad ugly, but it remains to be seen. Why are we trusting the trash people? Why are we're still trying to get them on our side?
There are a lot of people who are feeling that way.
Yeah, I mean, we can't trust them. Like, honestly, like, I'm shocked that when he let Jadis up, that somebody wasn't just like, bang, you're dead, Rick. You know, like, problem solved. Stop trying to recruit us. You know, the guy's like someone selling religion door to door. He just won't quit. Like, I don't understand. I mean, yeah, I guess we need the numbers, especially after, everyone in the kingdom was cut down, or at least all of the fighters in kingdom were cut down. But I wouldn't want them on my sixth, I would not feel comfortable with them behind me with a gun. I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know, man. I think it was a mistake. I'm not sure why we're looking to the trash people again, but I would have been happy to write them out of the series after last season. So they're going to have to do a lot to make it worthy for them to stick around.
Well, and, it really looks like in the next episode that, they're kind of living up to their end of the bargain.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So what was your ugly?
So my ugly was the drone. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't CGI. It looked like really bad CGI. And really,
notice.
Is there still a working iPod? Does Eugene have an iPod charger this late in the game? Maybe he does.
Well, that was Sasha's iPod.
Right, but was the charger in the coffin?
I don't think so.
Yeah, and so how long has it been since Sasha died and that coffin's been sitting down there? iPod chargers don't last that long.
There might have been an iPod charger somewhere around, but then it would have taken time to charge, at least an hour or two.
I know. So it was just one of those, okay, we suspend disbelief about a lot of things. We suspend disbelief about gas. We suspend disbelief that the dead walk, that they are the active dead. But I just was like, oh, that was really bad.
Yeah.
It was just a plot line that didn't do anything for me. So it was my bad ugly.
Yeah, like I said, there was a lot of things that took me out of my suspension of disbelief this episode, and I think that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. That's why I got such a low rating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's that on your shoe?
That is rotting potpourri.
So, what do you have in rotting potpourri? Ack?
Alexandria, Hilltop, and Kingdom. Ack. Not to be confused with Ka. Kingdom, Alexandria, Hilltop. I liked it. I liked his acronym. Ack.
That's funny.
Yeah. But there was a lot of funny from Eugene this episode, but you really had, I don't know, turn closed caption on.
Yeah, maybe you seriously had to work to get the funny.
I'm like, I need subtitles for this dude.
Right. But on the flip side, so I wrote this, and this is so terrible. I feel a little bad about writing this, but I wrote the sullen, somber, bloated Eugene. There is no light left in him.
His rage face after all the walkers come pouring in, he's like shaking with rage. I'm just like, wow, like he's and then like he was all frustrated. Like, yeah, he had some really good physical moments this episode.
Okay, and I don't want to offend anyone who is not neurotypical, so please no one be offended out there because my godson has Asperger's and I love him. He's a brilliant kid and he's really fascinating. But I was looking at Eugene and I was thinking about what he said, it's my biological imperative. I will survive. It's all I know how to do. And he has no real connection with people. I mean, once his ties with Abe and Rosita were gone, all of his ties were gone. And it goes back to when Abe beat the crap out of him.
Right.
And and what he gets from Negan is not the same. So I kind of was like, God, I wonder if he's maybe not somewhere on the Asperger's autism spectrum. And maybe that's part of what makes it just so challenging for him to fit and to zip up that ill-fitting human suit.
Yeah, I think that could be part of it. He has that he has that not good in social situations kind of. Yeah.
But he's brilliant. I mean, he really does have intelligent insights and funny things to say. And like when I think about my godson, who again I love, he is a brilliant kid. He is not good in social situations.
Well, and the show that I was hyping a little bit earlier, The Good Doctor, is actually about a surgeon with Asperger's.
Ah, okay.
And, it's like he's a brilliant surgeon. I forget what they refer to it as. Is it's like genius syndrome or something like that, where, he just... It's like a brilliant mind where he can actually see like all of the vessels and the heart muscles and everything, like, just like looking up in the air. He can work out where the blockage is based on what he can hear and feel. And it's a, really amazing visually. But you also have a surgeon who has zero bedside manner and can't really communicate with people and his coworkers.
Yeah, so super duper good people skill, or super duper good, like technical skills and brilliant mind, not great people skills.
Right, yeah. Right.
And again, this is not to diss everybody out there who is neurotypical, because God knows I've got some friends who fall on the spectrum and they're amazing, but it's just the different way that they relate to the world. And I really saw that really highlighted in Eugene tonight, especially because of his separateness from everyone.
Right. He's a key that fits somewhere in the lock of our universe, so.
Okay, the other thing I liked about Eugene is that he confirmed for us that the gut poncho was, in fact, the culprit in Father Gabe's illness.
Yeah, and to be fair, everyone's ragging on this. Why hasn't anyone gotten sick? Well, just because someone in our group hasn't gotten sick
doesn't mean it hasn't happened somewhere else.
Right. If you think back, we all literally wore ponchos. We didn't put it on ourselves. We covered ourselves in blankets and then put it on the blanket, and then we discarded the blanket, with exception to Carol when she was creeping around Terminus. She was the only one that put it directly like on her without some sort of protective barrier. Yeah. So she got lucky. But, number was up. He wasn't wearing a poncho. He was smeared it on his own clothes and so.
Although I do wonder because, Dr. Carson was kind of talking about, boy, it'd be really great if we had some meds and I'm going to go try to find some herbs and try some Eastern medicine. So I kind of wonder if they're not leaving it open for Dr. Carson to find something.
Well, and I don't think that like they're sick with like the zombie flu. I think they're just like maybe he's got a coli from all of the intestines he had to squish open onto himself.
That's possible.
It doesn't have to be like the death flu. He could just be suffering from what other than E. coli, Giardia. Like I don't know.
Giardia doesn't kill you.
Well, I mean, no.
It makes you wish you were dead, but it doesn't kill you.
But, like, he definitely has some pink eye going on. Those were amazing contacts.
Yeah, I saw that on Talking Dead. They mentioned that they were contacts.
Yeah. Like, those, like, I would take one look at him and be like, last rites, dude. But yeah, so I mean, he doesn't have to be sick with the zombie flu. He could be sick with just,
With just the sick. The
regular
Big Sick, which
heat.
by the way was a great movie.
Need to watch that. If wishes were horses.
I want Razzles too.
What's funny is maybe it's because of where I've grown up, and it's a common expression up here. If wishes were fishes.
Oh, see, I always remember our mother saying, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride.
Yeah, that's true. I do remember that now. You're right. But the one I hear most often is if wishes were fishes, and I can't remember the rest of it. It's been a long time.
All right, man. What else you got for writing potpourri?
Why do you think Morgan joined up with the snipers? Like, how do you think that went down? Because the last time we saw Morgan, he was just storming off into the distance. And after the big announcement, we all figured we weren't seeing him again. But of course, got up as Gimple's like, no, his time isn't over for this. And so,
well, they said on Talking Dead last night that, or night before last, that basically it was a way where Morgan felt like he could get in it without getting too up close and personal, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
And they also talked a little bit about how him being up in the window as a sniper was a callback to season 1 when he was sniping all the zombies and trying to bring himself to put his wife down.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that, like, all of a sudden Morgan pops up and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a sniper now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of incongruous. It was unexpected because there's not really a great explanation for how Morgan got from I'm going to kick Jesus's ass to I'm a sniper.
Yeah. And like where's he going after this, of course we all assume
to Houston, apparently.
Houston, yeah. He really wants to get out of Jesus' way. Yeah.
Well, so I want to know what made the Garbage Pail Kids think that they would have more success with Winslow 2.0.
It looked like they were just going to hold Rick down and have Winslow 2.0 bite him.
Okay.
And I don't understand that. I was just like, you have him in his boxers in a container. Why not just like shove 4 or 5 walkers in there and close the doors? Why do you have to go all Bond villain about it and like, hold him down and steer the walker to him to bite him? Or like, why don't you just like, I don't know, shoot him or knife him in the neck? Or
because
like,
they have to do their emo drill team thing.
Yeah, like it was that was another thing that took me out of the moment, that it was very Bond villainy where, like it has to be some sort of elaborate death. And it's like, oh, I hope when the zombie apocalypse happens, I am not this like melodramatic about everything. And I run into the bad guy and I just shoot him in the head. Like, no explaining my plot to him. No, talking about the lives we once had. No elaborate death. And then I walk away just assuming he's dead. Like, no. Enough of the Bond villain.
All right. So another question for you.
Okay.
I think that we've still got some loose ends.
Oh,
we still have Aaron, Enid, Oceanside. Is Oceanside the thing that's going to glue our groups back together?
Yeah, and could we see Heath come back with Oceanside? Is that where he's been all this time?
Possible.
Because, like there are some pretty scary scenes in the upcoming on the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
The Saviors pull their whole blocking the road with the tree on Maggie again. And I really don't like the looks of that. And, Eugene gets the intercom working again, and we hear Negan over the loudspeaker at Alexandria. And I'm not sure that Carl and Michonne were wearing their pee-pee pants, and so there's going to be trouble there. But yeah, and then Enid and Aaron are in a car, kind of crouching down because somebody's creeping around them. And yeah, none of this looks good for anybody next episode.
Well, it is the mid-season finale, and it's shocking.
90 minutes worth
of shocking. Well, I don't know that I've got a lot more else to say. I do want to say that Art Mora commented on our Facebook page, and he was talking a bit about the junk people, the trash heap. He said they seem like they're modeled, at least visually, on anarchists and the Antifa. I don't know if you say Antifa, Antifa. I don't know. It probably depends on what. Antifa. See, I'm so not hip. I'm so not hip. The black clothing, riding bikes, a bit artsy. That's how I see them as being portrayed, and jaded by the apocalypse. And he said they probably put A's on everything, but the A without the circle around it doesn't fit unless they no longer seek order.
Right. They just seek anarchy. I thought that was a really cool parallel. We try not to drag politics into the show, but, Antifa is like kind of a popular thing now in parts of our culture, whether you agree or disagree with it. No violence, just no violence. That's all I'm asking for. Like, you can be opposed to stuff, don't be violent about it. Like, don't incite violence, nothing. But yeah, once Art pointed out the parallels, I was like, yeah, I could totally see that. Good job, Art. But yeah, I mean, that could explain, it could explain their A, but we've seen A with the Saviors. Daryl had it on his little jumpsuit. And then at Terminus and at Alexandria, they had the A's on the hand. Sam gave everyone an A. So it's not just the trash people who were modeled, I believe, after the scavengers in the books. So, I'm
still not convinced that the trash heap people aren't somebody else.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I think they are modeled. I don't think we're gonna, if they aren't modeled after the scavengers in the comic books, I don't think we're gonna get to see the scavengers. I think it'll be like GoBots and Autobots, like too much of the same thing but different. Yeah. I think we're gonna have Whisperers next.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to talk about it when we get further along.
Yeah.
Well,
this is how it's got to be. The title of our next episode.
It's going to be depressing, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully the shock will be so good. We'll be like, yes.
Yeah. And for those of you who listen or who watch in a different time zone, we try to remain spoiler free as long as possible. So you may see us on social media going, "Oh my God!" We promise not to spoil it for you. We can't guarantee that some of the other lessons might not spoil it for you in the comment section, but just know that we try very, very hard for those of you who watch a day late or you get it a day late, maybe in your country. We try not to spoil it for you. So we may be a little active next weekend, but we'll try to keep the spoiler to dull roar.
And for the love of God, don't go on Twitter and get spoiled like I did about Shiva, because that sucked.
Yeah, I do not go. For one, I haven't liked any I unliked all of my Walking Dead pages that I had liked when they spoiled Beth's death. I was like, nope, that's never happening again for me.
I did that with Facebook. I followed individual actors on Twitter, so.
Yeah, and I gave you guys the warning that Josh Michael will spoil the episode for you on the night.
Which, by the way, Thomas O'Mara did say that he followed Josh Michael, so good for you for not making your life an echo chamber, Thomas O'Mara.
Yay!
I wish I could say the same about myself.
This week's Out of Your Bubble award goes to
Thomas O'Mara. Yeah. It certainly doesn't go to me. All right. I've got to wrap it up because I have a plane ticket to book and I got bills to pay.
I got makeup to remove and a glass of wine to drink.
Oh, I'm envious.
Don't be envious.
I am going to Joshua Tree next month and I'm very excited about that.
I am envious of that. All of our snow has rained off. It's like 40 and raining every day for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it started being 40 and raining yesterday, and then it was like 32 and snaining on my way home in the dark tonight, so that kind of was...
Yeah, I could really go for a desert retreat right now.
Well, if you want to come and ohm with me... You're always welcome, but I'm not sure that the sweary Buddhists would be up your alley.
They're sweary Buddhists?
Oh my god, they're amazing!
That sounds fantastic.
They are totally sweary Buddhists. I will send you the links to their podcasts. I love them very much. They are very deep in my heart.
Oh, man.
My teacher is one of the sweary Buddhists. I didn't know you didn't know that.
No, man.
All right. So for anyone out there who's listening to our podcast who might have some sort of interest in sweary Buddhism, I highly recommend Against the Stream, which is the West Coast podcast, and Dharma Punks NYC and Brooklyn, which is the East Coast podcast. And all I can tell you is that they are the cream of the crop of American Buddhism.
Somebody find me some nuns that write dirty limericks, and I'm set for life.
They're, yeah, not quite like that, but quite sweary. I love them.
That's awesome.
All right, on that note, we're going to try to get this together this time, right? We do much better when we do this face-to-face because we actually can, like, look at each other and cue each other.
We need to come up with a cadence. We need to come with a beat of something.
Okay.
Not this time, though.
That's your homework for next week.
That's my homework for next week.
Yeah.
Dang. I need to quit raising my hand in class.
No doubt, man. I'm too busy. I'm the slacker in the class. All right. So, just remember, let's take it. One dead day at a time. We still suck. Cadence next week.
I really think you're spot on.
No, we're really not. But I love you anyway.
I love you, and I love our listeners.
Me too. Everybody have a great week, and as you gear up for whatever holiday you celebrate, have a wonderful holiday season.
Yes, thank you for listening.
Yeah, take good care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Murderinos.